How's it going, everybody? Just wanted to give my quick thoughts on Josh Hawley and the NBA. A little something going around yesterday. So Senator Hawley called on the NBA to put support troops and back the blue on jerseys. Let's take a look at the tweet here that he sent out. If at NBA is going to put social cause statements on uniforms, why not support our troops or back the blue? Or given how much money NBA makes in China, how about free Hong Kong? Yeah, well, okay. So in response to that, you had Adrian Wojnarowski apologize for firing off a FU to Senator Josh Hawley. Interesting how the mere suggestion of doing something pro-America or pro-democracy, I guess in a way, would elicit such a response, but you know how it is, everybody. We're all entitled to our own responses. There's that person right there. I wouldn't be concerned about anything that came from somebody like that. Wojnarowski eventually apologized. Here you see it on the screen. It was disrespectful, and I made a regrettable mistake. Twitter, apparently, shockingly, comes to the defense of Wojnarowski. Twitter being the classy platform that it is, or I should say the classy individuals on Twitter. There you see just a few of the replies. And again, big deal. It's Twitter. Everybody's got an opinion. I get in there and smack talk politicians just for fun. It doesn't matter. It's not like they're ever going to see it. And there may have been some pro Josh Hawley tweets as well, but it just depends on how they're trying to spin the article and what kind of buzz they're trying to create. Well, Doc Rivers says this to Senator Hawley. He challenged him over criticism as Clippers stand together. He says there is no league that does more for the military than the NBA, Rivers said. But how about that, Senator? I'll make a challenge. We will do things for the troops as long as he acknowledges Black Lives Matter. I think that would be really cool for him to do. I don't go to NBA games. I haven't watched the NBA in at least a couple years. I'll most likely never watch again. That doesn't mean I don't hear things. Obviously, you hear things on the news. You hear who won the championship. Last year it was the Raptors. The year before that, I want to say that Golden State beat Cleveland that year. And then the year before, I think Cleveland had won it. And the year before, Golden State had won a couple. Like I said, you hear things, but not exactly sure on that. I do know that Toronto won last year, though. I don't watch the NBA. Probably never watch again. Don't watch the NFL. Haven't watched that in about 5 years. Probably never watch again. For me, it's, you can say what you want about player stances and the political nature of things. And sure, that plays a part in it. But for me, and then we'll get back to Hawley, what I realized was my time was better spent on the weekends going and doing active things on my own. Why would I want to watch somebody else throw a ball around or try to put a ball in a little round hoop? To minimize it in a way, I know what they do is awfully skilled, but why would I pay money or devote any of my time in my life when I can go out somewhere? I can go to the gym and shoot hoops. I can get a group of friends together and do active things. I can go to the beach and play some volleyball. I could go jog around, go do some trails. Obviously, it isn't going to be as entertaining watching me as it would be them, but I ultimately arrived at a point in my life where, sure, the political situation was one thing, but why would I contribute money to that? And then two, why wouldn't I just do things on my own that were active? Why do I have to watch others do those things? That said, I do still watch some college football and basketball, so I'll be upfront about that. Back to the whole Hawley situation, though, and again, I'm not going to knock Doc. I don't know if that's true or not that they do that. If they do, then that's good. But the only thing I will say is, though, that I don't necessarily know that this was a fight that he should waste his time getting involved in. Same thing like I said about Trump tweeting at Bubba Wallace again recently. I had totally forgotten about the NBA, forgotten they were coming back. I get it from a kind of political standpoint, and definitely from the China standpoint in terms of Hong Kong. I think the ultimate response from Hawley to Rivers, and what I would say if somebody ever confronted me with this, well, why don't you say Black Lives Matter? I'd say all lives matter. There, I said it. Black, white, whatever color you want to put on anyone else, whatever their identity, gender, male or female, they're all encompassed in that all lives matter. His hashtag reply should have been all lives matter. At Doc Rivers, I said it. That should have been it. Now I'm a little bit more cynical than him, maybe. And I was thinking about this thing too with Trump and de Blasio painting the mural out in front of Trump Tower in New York City with Black Lives Matter and all that. I thought it would have been funny for Trump to get a bunch of black supporters, white, Asian, Latino, gay, straight, male, female, whatever you want to do, take that group up to New York City. Have all the black people pose with it, selfie with Trump by the Black Lives Matter, and then get the rollers out, paint the black to white, and then have all the whites there. Paint it to Asian, and then have all the Asians there taking selfies. Paint it to say male lives matter, have all men with him. Paint it to female lives matter, gay lives matter, straight lives matter. You get the point, right? All those individuals within those groups, have them just take a bunch of selfies, post it up on the website, hashtag all of them. Make it a big old thing, man, and just to get the message out, all lives matter. And finally, though, kind of a last thought is, it's what people say, the typical argument, well, why don't you just tune out? And that's 100% true. I get where people have their disagreements, voice their disapproval with things. Ultimately, it's business. And the reality is the NBA gets a huge chunk of its money from China. You see players bending over left and right. LeBron bends over for China. I think James Harden did as well. The Rockets' owner, not their president, but their owner bent over for China. I think when the president came out and said something that kind of was not pro-China, the owner of the team bent right over and took that CCPD right up the you-know-what. So I get that he's talking about China in terms of its positioning within the world on human rights and stuff like that. But I'm one of those individuals that really feels like people speak with their wallets, right? And the same thing with the Goya situation that just happened recently where he doubled down on his support of Trump. They try to get a boycott going. Maybe that'll help or hurt Goya in the long run. We'll see. People speak with their wallets. And let's be honest, the NBA isn't marketing their product to individuals in the United States solely that may be on the right or towards the center of the political spectrum. It's a global product. They say it's a global game, and ultimately you guys know what it's about. So I don't see this as a fight that Josh Hawley maybe should have went with. I get where he's coming from, but I don't see it as something that ultimately he's going to win. The NBA isn't, in my opinion, isn't just going to dry up. The money isn't going anywhere. The money may come less and less from the United States and more from China, but ultimately, where does that get us in the long run? All right, everybody, that's really all I got for that. It's interesting how, and I've said this in other videos, how showing some American patriotism or pride gets you an FU and gets you the kind of reaction on Twitter that we saw from that small sample there. Interesting, right? Pride in country. Pride in your own country. Not too much of that going around, it seems, for the United States. If you look at what you see on the media, social media, and stuff like that. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.